One choice made here erased kingdoms. One man stood on vast, unforgiving plains, making a choice that would topple kings, unite tribes. This is PASTORA. By the end, you'll discover how one decision changed the world forever. Few would have guessed that a boy growing up on the harsh, unforgiving Mongolian plains would one day change the world. Hidden ambitions stirred beneath the endless grasslands, and tribes fought relentlessly, unaware of the empire quietly forming. The Mongolian steppes were a brutal and unforgiving land. Endless winds swept across the plains, and survival was a constant battle. Tribes warred over grazing lands and water, and life was harsh and short. In this unforgiving world, a young warrior learned the skills of hunting, riding, and strategy. He observed the rival clans, noticing their strengths, weaknesses, and unspoken alliances. Even at a young age, his curiosity and sharp mind set him apart. People around him underestimated his ambition, but he carefully studied every battle and every decision made by the leaders of his time. Each day, he quietly planted the seeds of what would become an empire, one decision at a time, unseen by most, but destined to reshape history. One fateful moment arrived when the young warrior chose to unite a small cluster of tribes under his leadership. It was risky. Rivals could have easily crushed him, but his daring move succeeded. The tribes accepted him, surprised and wary. This single decision sparked a chain of events that would build the largest empire the world had ever seen. Yet, this was only the beginning. Hidden challenges, rival leaders, and impossible battles lay ahead. How would this young leader turn a fragile alliance into unstoppable power? The story unfolds in the next chapter. Few could imagine that a young warrior, barely known beyond his own tribe, would begin weaving alliances across rival clans. Hidden ambitions stirred, and the surrounding leaders were both shocked and wary of the unstoppable force quietly forming. The Mongolian steppes were not just harsh, they were fragmented. Tribes competed for survival, mistrusting outsiders and guarding their lands fiercely. Our warrior moved cautiously, observing customs, strengths, and weaknesses. He extended offers of alliance, sometimes with gifts, sometimes with words that promised protection and shared power. Skepticism ran deep. Rival clans whispered doubts and feared betrayal. Yet, with patience and subtle strategy, he found common ground. One clan joined him to face a shared enemy. Another followed, impressed by his fairness and vision. Each small alliance strengthened his position, and soon, whispers of an emerging power spread across the plains. He was learning the delicate art of political strategy, the first taste of the influence that would eventually unite the steppes under one banner. A tense council brought together 3 rival leaders. All were skeptical, eyes sharp and wary. With careful words and decisive action, the warrior convinced them to cooperate. It was a risky move. Any misstep could spark rebellion. Yet it worked. The clans agreed, wary but committed. The first step toward an empire had begun, a fragile but unstoppable force taking shape. But unity came at a cost. Rivalry simmered, and enemies watched closely. Could this alliance survive the first true test of power, or would it crumble before the empire even began? Few realized that the young warrior's next move would shock the plains. Hidden strategies, cunning tactics, and fearless determination would soon force tribes to submit or face total defeat. His reputation as a rising power was about to ignite. The neighboring tribes had long resisted alliances, their pride and independence fierce. But the warrior's growing influence could not be ignored. He studied each clan, learning their weaknesses, leadership styles, and battle strategies. With careful planning, he struck at the right moment. Swift raids, clever ambushes, and psychological tactics. Tribes began to notice his skill, some choosing submission to avoid destruction, while others prepared for resistance. Word of his strategic mind and bravery spread across the steppes. Villagers whispered about a leader unlike any before, one who could turn even the fiercest rivalries to his advantage. His small, loyal force moved with precision, demonstrating that intelligence and courage could outweigh sheer numbers. The seeds of empire were sprouting from every victory. The first major battle arrived. 2 rival clans joined forces against him, confident in their superiority. But the warrior anticipated every move, flanking and outmaneuvering them. Victory was decisive yet calculated, no unnecessary bloodshed. Tribes were stunned, realizing this leader could not be ignored. His name began to echo across the plains, a symbol of both fear and respect. Yet, conquering tribes was only the beginning. Larger challenges and unexpected betrayals awaited. Could his growing reputation withstand the pressures of empire, or would ambition invite disaster? The next chapter holds the answer. Few could have predicted that a single decision would alter the course of history. Hidden risks, unimaginable sacrifice, and shocking strategy would soon leave rival clans both stunned and cautious, witnessing the birth of something unprecedented. The young warrior's reputation had grown, but with influence came challenges. Rival clans eyed him warily, each plotting to protect their power. He understood that survival and dominance required more than skill in battle. Careful planning, diplomacy, and a willingness to take extraordinary risks became his tools. Scouts reported troop movements, alliances shifted unpredictably, and every decision carried weighty consequences. The vast steppes offered no room for hesitation. Observing the terrain, the leader's strengths, and the ever-changing political climate, he prepared to act decisively. Every alliance secured, every enemy intimidated, brought him closer to consolidating the tribes. It was not merely conquest. It was the careful crafting of an empire, beginning with one bold, calculated choice. Then came the moment. He chose to strike an unexpected alliance, risking both reputation and lives. The gamble paid off. Rival clans, shocked by his audacity, hesitated to oppose him. Trust, fear, and respect shifted in his favor. From this one critical decision, the foundation of a large empire was quietly laid, unseen yet unstoppable. But as power grew, so did envy and hidden threats. Could the young leader maintain control, or would the very alliances he built sow the seeds of rebellion? The story unfolds next. Few could have imagined that a small group of tribes could transform into an unstoppable force. Hidden strategies, unimaginable discipline, and clever organization would soon turn ordinary warriors into the backbone of the largest empire the world had seen. With alliances secured, the young leader faced a new challenge, building an army capable of conquering vast lands. Unlike any before, this army was not just about numbers. It was about structure, loyalty, and innovation. Units were trained meticulously, learning coordination, archery, and cavalry maneuvers that few rivals could counter. Loyalty was earned through respect, discipline, and fair treatment, but fear of consequences reinforced obedience. Logistics became a secret weapon. Supplies moved efficiently, communication was swift, and strategies were rehearsed with precision. Even harsh winters and brutal terrain could not break their will. Tribes that once resisted now contributed warriors and resources. Slowly, a force unlike any the Mongolian steppes had ever seen began to emerge, hinting at an unstoppable power poised to sweep across the land. The warrior introduced a system of leadership within the army, promoting based on merit rather than birth. This shocking decision shocked some traditionalists but strengthened loyalty. His carefully crafted hierarchy allowed rapid decision-making on the battlefield, giving his forces an advantage no rival could anticipate. The Mongol army was no longer a loose gathering. It had become an efficient, formidable force. But as the army grew stronger, whispers of rebellion and rival alliances reached the plains. Could this rising power withstand the coming challenges? Or would ambition invite unforeseen conflict? Next chapter reveals all. Few could have predicted how swiftly neighboring lands would fall under one leader's command. Hidden tactics, clever diplomacy, and unstoppable strategy spread fear across the plains, as the seeds of a vast empire quietly began to take shape. With a disciplined army and growing alliances, the young leader turned his attention outward. Neighboring tribes and small kingdoms, once independent and proud, faced an unprecedented force. Some surrendered without a fight, impressed by his reputation and strategy. Others resisted fiercely, prompting a careful blend of warfare and diplomacy. Messages, envoys, and strategic offers often preceded battles, weakening resistance before a single arrow was fired. His methods were both shocking and calculated, an unusual combination of respect for the conquered and firm enforcement of authority. Villages and towns quickly adapted, offering supplies, warriors, or loyalty. Fear began to ripple through rival territories, yet admiration grew alongside it. Slowly, what was once a fractured steppes landscape began to look like a cohesive empire, as territories submitted to a leader few had imagined could unite them. A critical victory against a resistant kingdom demonstrated his tactical brilliance. The decision to combine negotiation with swift military action stunned both allies and foes. The empire's boundaries expanded, and neighboring leaders grew cautious, realizing that resistance was futile. With each conquest, the vision of a unified and formidable Mongol Empire became more tangible. Yet, as power grew, internal politics and rival ambitions stirred beneath the surface. Could the young leader maintain control, or would cracks in the empire threaten his unstoppable rise? Next chapter reveals the answer. Few would believe that a leader of tribes could transform chaos into a well-organized empire. Hidden strategies, shocking innovations, and cunning governance allowed him to outsmart rivals and maintain control over lands stretching farther than anyone imagined. With expanding territories, managing the empire became the next challenge. The young leader introduced laws and governance systems designed to unite diverse tribes while maintaining order. Communication networks were established. Fast messengers on horseback carried critical commands across vast distances. Loyalty was reinforced not only through respect and rewards, but also by strategic discipline, ensuring that no faction dared challenge his authority. Every conquered region was carefully integrated, balancing fear and respect to maintain stability. Hidden strategies, including intelligence gathering and careful allocation of resources, allowed the empire to operate efficiently. Even rivals were kept uncertain, unable to anticipate his next move. Through these measures, the empire transformed from a loosely connected alliance of tribes into a formidable, well-structured state capable of conquering vast lands with speed and precision. A surprising policy decision further strengthened control. Local leaders were given limited autonomy, but ultimate authority rested with him. This delicate balance shocked some rivals and allies alike. By empowering others strategically, he secured loyalty while remaining untouchable. The empire became a machine, efficient, disciplined, and nearly unstoppable. Yet, even a powerful empire faces internal threats. Rivalries, betrayals, and hidden ambitions stirred beneath the surface. Could the young leader maintain harmony, or would cracks in power lead to disaster? Next chapter reveals all. Few would believe that a leader of tribes could transform chaos into a well-organized empire. Hidden strategies, shocking innovations, and cunning governance allowed him to outsmart rivals and maintain control over lands stretching farther than anyone imagined. With expanding territories, managing the empire became the next challenge. The young leader introduced laws and governance systems designed to unite diverse tribes while maintaining order. Communication networks were established. Fast messengers on horseback carried critical commands across vast distances. Loyalty was reinforced not only through respect and rewards, but also by strategic discipline, ensuring that no faction dared challenge his authority. Every conquered region was carefully integrated, balancing fear and respect to maintain stability. Hidden strategies, including intelligence gathering and careful allocation of resources, allowed the empire to operate efficiently. Even rivals were kept uncertain, unable to anticipate his next move. Through these measures, the empire transformed from a loosely connected alliance of tribes into a formidable, well-structured state capable of conquering vast lands with speed and precision. A surprising policy decision further strengthened control. Local leaders were given limited autonomy, but ultimate authority rested with him. This delicate balance shocked some rivals and allies alike. By empowering others strategically, he secured loyalty while remaining untouchable. The empire became a machine, efficient, disciplined, and nearly unstoppable. Yet, even a powerful empire faces internal threats. Rivalries, betrayals, and hidden ambitions stirred beneath the surface. Could the young leader maintain harmony, or would cracks in power lead to disaster? Next chapter reveals all.
Few could imagine how swiftly a single leader would unite scattered tribes under one banner. Hidden strategies, unwavering vision, and shocking decisions transformed the Mongolian steppes into an empire unlike anything the world had ever seen. By this stage, the Mongol Empire had reached an unprecedented scale. Tribes that once fought fiercely against each other now followed the same banner, sharing a sense of identity and purpose. Cultural practices were respected, yet unified under laws and governance introduced by the young leader. Political systems were carefully structured to maintain loyalty while allowing efficient communication and administration across vast lands. Trade routes opened, villages thrived, and the army became both a symbol and instrument of authority. Historians would later note how this integration of culture, governance, and military strategy allowed the empire to endure and expand. His vision was clear. The Mongols would not only dominate through warfare but also through administration, order, and a legacy that would echo for generations. A decisive move to standardize laws and appoint trusted governors consolidated power across distant territories. Resistance diminished, and loyalty strengthened. With every administrative and military success, the empire's foundations solidified. Tribes once independent now felt a shared identity and purpose, and the young leader's vision of a unified, formidable empire was finally taking tangible shape. But the empire's vastness brought new challenges. Could such a sprawling domain survive internal and external pressures? The final chapter reveals the ultimate impact of one decision that changed history forever. Few could have imagined that one bold decision on the Mongolian steppes would echo through history. Hidden ambitions and daring choices sparked a chain of events that would forever alter the world's political and cultural landscape. The Mongol Empire, born from strategy, courage, and vision, became the largest contiguous empire the world had ever seen. Under the young leader's guidance, tribes were unified, armies organized, and territories systematically governed. Trade, communication, and culture thrived as the empire's influence spread across Asia and Europe. Scholars, merchants, and travelers would later witness the empire's reach, noting both its power and ingenuity. This vast realm demonstrated that a single, carefully calculated decision could ripple outward, shaping societies, economies, and future leadership. By blending diplomacy with military strategy, respect with fear, and governance with innovation, the empire set new standards for leadership and organization. Its impact was not fleeting. It became a lesson in vision, planning, and execution for generations to come. The young leader's initial choice, to unite the tribes under one banner, was the catalyst for everything that followed. Each conquest, alliance, and administrative reform stemmed from this single decision. Rivals were outmaneuvered, allies inspired, and the foundations of a legacy were cemented. The empire's unprecedented scale and organization revealed the power of one decisive action, leaving an indelible mark on history. Though his reign ended, the lessons endured. Future leaders studied his strategy, ambition, and vision. What would they take forward? History remembers one decision that reshaped the world, and the story continues.